first thing to do is clean the bones that will be used in the soup. Without this step, your broth won't be very clear. Fill up a large pot with enough water so that it covers the beef knuckle bones. Then add 4 tablespoons of salt to help clean the bones. Boil the bones for around 20 minutes.
While the bones are being cleaned, prepare the vegetable that will be used in the broth. This vegetable will be grilled over open flame before being put into the broth. Also prepare the white radish that will not be grilled. Do not remove the skin, just cut them up. They will be put into the broth later.
While cleaning the bones, you will notice a lot of impurities from them coming to the surface of the water. This is expected as this is only the cleaning stage. After around 20 minutes, strain all the water and scrub the bones with your hands or with a scrub. Be careful of the heat. Once the bones are all cleaned, make sure the pot is also cleaned before refilling it with new water.
Bring the pot of clean bones and water to the boil. While this is happening, we'll grill all the vegetable over the flame. The purpose of grilling this vegetable is to actually makes it easier to extract the flavor out of this vegetable. Now, grill them to the point where it's just slightly black, and that's enough. Then put them in the pot as you go. And don't forget the white radish as well.
Once the water reaches 80 to 90 degrees, bring the heat right down. Do not let the water reach 100 degrees. This is a slow process to allow the flavor from the bones to extract. You will just want to see small bubbles on the surface.
As time goes by, you will see fat from the marrow comes to the surface. Use a spoon to remove the fat by skimming along the surface. You will need to keep skimming throughout the whole cooking process. It's gonna vary but for me, I do approximately every half an hour just to make sure the broth is consistently being cleaned.
You will notice the water level gets lower because it evaporates. This means you will have to add more water back to the level it was at the beginning. Make sure the water is boiling before. Add fish sauce, salt, pepper, sugar, and chicken stock to the broth. You will also have to add more of this multiple times throughout the process.
After 6 hours, the broth will look something like this, just bubbling away. Don't forget to keep skimming and reapplying boiling water and seasoning. I prefer to apply the spices with 2 hours to go because the flavor will be too strong if you add them any earlier. I use this brand for my beef soup. It isn't the best, there are better, but this does the job. This packet includes cinnamon sticks, thigh anise, clove and coriander. You will need to grill them over a low-medium heat pan, just enough to be aromatic, don't let it burn.
After grilling them, put all the spices in a cloth bag. This one here is homemade, but you can buy them online if you want. Then just put it in the broth for the last 2 hours. You may need to adjust the heat so that it keeps bubbling.
Now that the broth is finished, it's time to prepare the noodles and garnishing. I strongly recommend that you use fresh noodles, not the dry ones, because it just tastes better.
For garnishing, I used bean sprouts, coriander, spring onion, chili, thinly sliced onion in vinegar and sugar. You can also have Thai basil, lemon or lime. Also prepare the red beef that will be used later. The beef that I use is eye fillet, but you can also try other types. I recommend high-grade beef that is soft.
Boil some water that will be used to soften the noodles and bean sprout. While that is in the process, it's time to remove all the vegetable bones and the spices from the broth. The pot is heavy and hot. Be very careful. Put the drained broth in a new pot and bring it back to a slight boil.
Now to serve! After the pot has boiled, add in the bean sprouts and noodles into a noodle strainer. Bring it over to the boiling water and use a pair of chopsticks to stir it. This will separate the noodles. This will also take around 1 to 2 minutes. Then add in as much beef as you like and pour the broth around the outside of the bowl. Add garnishing to your liking and enjoy!